Hi, this is Dave Rimmer. I'm OFM on Full Tilt Poker. I typically play SNGs, sit and goes, low stakes. The purpose of this video is to illustrate something I thought of a novel way of using a dead seat. That is, when someone has sits out, leaves their seat with chips left on the table. In this particular case, it's an unusual situation. The chip leader or near chip leader has left the table somewhere around the 150 to 100 blind level, 50 to 100, and the I think most table did not realize it. They simply thought the seat was playing very conservatively, conserving their chip stacks until the end. Let me talk to you about the players here. I'm OFM. I'm up there right now, King 8 of clubs, King 8 offsuit. The sit out is next to me on my left, and then we have new guy who I've played against him before. He's something of a very dynamic player. He either wins or he goes out quickly. And then we have NASCAR, who's been the jackal of this table. He has been very aggressive, has gone in considerably more than anybody else, all in. I think it was 8 times the last 20 hands prior to where we are now in the game. Next to him is KKJJ, HH. I've played against that person before. She is a very solid player, often a mouse. In this game, she's been definitely a mouse, but she's also been slow, a short stack to most of the game, and has managed very well. Here we have an example. NASCAR comes in. He has 8-8. He's chip stack leader, 4,000 chips. I got 2,400. I decided to take a chance, thinking he has probably a mid pair. I have a good starting hand. What surprised me here is new guy goes all in as well, and I do end up prevailing with an ace on the flop, and I do take the chips. This reduces the chip stack of NASCAR by half, and he starts to tilt. He goes out here, but the dead seat has not returned, and it's about this time that I realized that this person isn't coming back. They still have about 2,500 chips, and I've become aware that not only are they not coming back, but I think the other two players as well, KK as well as NASCAR, have realized that that person is, their chips are up for grabs. This means that in this 9-handed $1 sit and go with 3 cash positions, that we are now playing for the bubble, or to avoid the bubble. NASCAR continues, however, to be wildly aggressive and loose. You saw here him going in. Well, I think we missed it there, but he did go all in. He lost a pair of 9s to a pair of 9s with ace jack. But here we go to illustrate my point. The dead stick. Oh, we're going back to that. All right, here we go. He has a pair of 8s again. He goes all in. I decided to go with Queen Jack, fearing he still has a small pair or an offsuit, maybe Ace King. I'm hoping he still has more chips than I do. I go all in after he does. No, he does not have more chips. I have considerably more chips than he does. So do you prevail? Queen Jack holds. I get the jack on the river, and we're down to 3-handed. And this very aggressive player, who just 4 or 5 hands ago was the massive chip leader, is now out on the bubble. Now here's the point. All right, in order to maintain and manage the aggression of KKJJHH, I decided at this point, realizing the dead seat existed, that maybe I could use that dead seat to manage the aggression of KKJJHH. I'm going to call KK from now on. If KK is consistently worried about being out in the bubble, like we all are when we get down to these number of players, as long as I can keep the dead seat in and active, I can manage the aggression of KK, who won't go in with anything that is not a premium hand, which will reduce their bluffing. I can continue to whittle away at her chip stack while putting chips over on the other seat, the dead seat, as my own kind of personal bank, but also to continue to, once again, continue to manage the aggression and the possibility of bluffs from KKJJHH. And it works beautifully. KK can never really push. When she does push, I know she's got a good quality hand, and I fold. And I continue to put chips over, or allow chips to accumulate, keep feeding the dead seat, and here I have the king queen. I decide to go all in. It's quality hand. KK folds. She continues to pick up chips from the big blind, but she's folding enough to me that I'm able to manage equilibrium, or actually accumulate chips over the short term. Don't have a real strong hand, but I pick up second pair. I decide to go with it. KK makes the only attempt at bluffing that I know about. Doesn't have a hand, decides to put in 300. The blinds are getting very high. They're 300 at this point. She puts in the 300. I call. I end up prevailing with my pair of nines. And KK's chip stack continues to be whittled down. Now, we finally exhausted the bank. The dead seat is gone. In third position, by the way. She's been dead seat since being chip leader very early, when there were still 8 players left in the game, and she manages to cash out. Partly because, significantly because of the aggression of New Guy and NASCAR, and being really overly aggressive and loose, and being so much so that other people were able to take advantage of that fact. And so here we have a dead seat finishing in the cash. And now we have me and KK, JJR. The game is on. The last hand of the game right here. I have Queen 10. I have a massive chip stack, 11,000. I decide to go forward, as anyone would. She has A6, a monster hand compared to mine. I end up being fortunate enough to pick up a 10 on the flop, and I prevail and I win the game. But the whole point of the video is that I think this is a different opportunity to maybe manage a dead seat when you're a massive chip stack. Opportunity may not come very often, but instead of everybody competing for the resources of the dead seat, and you'll see that happen, and people will opt out and get caught with bad hands because they're trying to grab the